Now let's pull that up here. This is what they call the Reproductive Health Rights Bill. That's not the title. They had some clever title for it. This is Let's Kill Babies bill. This is their abortion. So basically what they're doing here in this bill is they're making sure that if the Supreme Court ever changes, okay, if it ever changes, we have got this in statute. So if you look at subdivision 3, first subdivision is the title, subdivision 2 definition. Subdivision 3, reproductive freedom. Every individual has a fundamental right to make autonomous decisions about the individual's own reproductive health, including the fundamental right to use or refuse reproductive health care. Now, they should say here, they did say individual. Did you notice that important thing that they said? Not woman. Not every woman has a right to reproductive care, but every individual. Because men can get pregnant, William. All right, subdivision, so section B. Every individual, not just woman, but anyone who can get pregnant, any individual who becomes pregnant and has a fundamental right to continue the pregnancy and give birth or obtain an abortion and to make autonomous decisions about how to exercise this fundamental right. And then subdivision 4, right to reproductive freedom recognized. The Minnesota Constitution establishes the principles of individual liberty, personal privacy, and equality. Such principles ensure the fundamental right to reproductive freedom. Now, that's the way the Supreme Court has read it. The subdivision 5 is just saying no local government can interfere and restrict a woman's right to kill her baby. Where in here do you see when that baby becomes a baby? Do you see it in there?
I was about to ask that. So does this eliminate any restrictions on abortion?
This eliminates. This is as extreme as it gets. You can kill a baby. Like, this is what I've said on the show before, and in many conversations around here. This all comes down to when does life begin? Because we should at least, as a society, just acknowledge that you can't kill a human life, right? I mean, other than like the exceptions of war, and I'm not even really pro-death sentence because I think we get too many of those things wrong. But obviously, our society at least believes a convicted murderer can be put to death.
Usually in self-defense as well.
Yes, self-defense.
Yeah.
You can't kill an innocent life. There's nothing more innocent than a baby, right? So when does that begin? And I think the right, at least, is somewhat honest and says it begins at conception. You can debate it. You can debate it from a scientific standpoint. It's tough to debate that from a scientific standpoint. Heartbeat starts 28 days or something like that? 20 days? I should know this by heart.
It's on all the billboards when you go up north.
Yeah, no, you'd think I would know the billboards by heart. There are bills in other states that say 20 weeks, no abortion before 20 weeks. When does life begin? If you look at what the Democrats are saying, life doesn't begin until that baby is born, right? Because when you look at this bill, go ahead and put it back up. It says, it's really in B, every individual who becomes pregnant has a fundamental right to continue the pregnancy and give birth or obtain an abortion.
Yeah.
So there is no exceptions on abortion. If you have a 7-pound, 39-week-old baby who can clearly live outside the womb, you can end that pregnancy. According to this bill. That's the number one priority by the Democrats, is to allow a 7-pound, 39-week-old baby to be put to death if the mother and the doctor or physician is willing to do it.
But they're not stopping here. They want this to be an issue to talk about in 2024. So, of course, they're going to push a constitutional amendment and get everyone out, all the young people back out to vote on this issue.
But they're not pushing a constitutional amendment.
Well,
why would they need to do a constitutional amendment? According to David Hand, the Republican Party chair, it's already in the Constitution.
Well, that's a good point. Maybe there's no opposition to their
Only
assertion.
good point, not an excellent point on that one.
Only a good one. Only a good one.
Yeah, if you didn't follow that show, we show how David Hand told every candidate in the state of Minnesota back in September that if you have to talk about abortion, say it's a constitutional right. It's like, no, it's not a constitutional right. Some crazy justices called it a constitutional right. It's not in the Constitution. It's insane that they would say something like that. Because if we take the part of the Constitution that's establishes the principles of individual liberty. Well, what about the individual liberty of an unborn baby? When does life begin? That's the question. Because obviously animals don't have the rights that human beings have, right? So this thing that's in the womb, when does it become a human life? That's the big question. And the Democrats in Minnesota just told you it doesn't become life until it's born. They get that way wrong. And it's going to take some Republicans with guts, like these 20 Republicans in U.S. Congress, actually calling that out and telling the press that. Because they just play defense. They get the abortion issue all wrong. Oh, no exceptions for rape or incest. And once again, if a life begins at a certain time, then why does rape and incest count? It doesn't matter. You can't kill a human life. Can you kill a 10-year-old that's a victim of rape or incest? No. So once a life begins, once we define that, you can't kill a human being. It's so obvious. It should be just part of our culture. Democrats don't want that. That's evil. I don't know how else to look at it. It's so evil that they feel that way. So that's priority number one by your Minnesota Democrats. It'll be an interesting fight to see it play off. And once again, it just undermines the whole argument. If it's already in the Constitution, why they got to do it? And we obviously know the point is they believe that some justices down the road might change and restrict abortion. So they want to codify it in law. They call it codifying Roe v. Wade, which is kind of a goofy way to say it because Roe v. Wade was a Supreme Court decision. But basically codify abortion into Minnesota statute.